Hi all, welcome to a monitor too wide. I'm an old guy playing games. What you see behind me is the monitor I play games on. It's wide, maybe too wide. It's 49 inches diagonally. The aspect ratio is 32:9. It's the equivalent of having two 24-inch monitors side by side. And that is the last of the technical talk. My purpose here is to talk about things you should consider before putting down the money to buy something like this. My quick take, I've been using this monitor for several years now. I love it, but they are not for everyone. Let's start with a couple of questions you need to think about before we talk about the pluses and minuses of using a monitor like this one. Do you have room for it? And I don't just mean will this monstrosity physically fit on your desk. It is going to chew up a lot of real estate, which will likely impact where you place speakers, where will your webcam go, microphones, headset, notebook. You will be moving some stuff around. This is my current setup. In addition to the ultrawide monitor, I have two additional 24-inch monitors. The one on the right is now mounted on an arm, not just because it's cool or convenient to be able to move it around. If I'd placed it on the desk, it would have been at a very bad angle for viewing. And the ultrawide monitor, the height adjustment built into its stand didn't go high enough to allow me to use it with a laptop sitting open in front of it. So I got some stands to raise it up a little higher. So before you start shopping for one of these, grab a tape measure and think about your entire workspace, not just the monitor. There has to be room on the desk for everything else you need. Can your hardware support it? This is not about whether your current video card and machine have enough oomph to drive a monitor like this at the graphic quality you want. This is, can it support it at all? We got one of these for my wife several years before I got this one. She does play on it, but the reason I got it for her was to make running her own business easier. When we plugged it into her laptop, we discovered the driver simply did not support any appropriate resolutions for it. Not a huge problem in that case. These monitors will usually allow you to configure them to look like two monitors. You run two cables to it, and your machine will see two separate monitors. That worked for her case. It does not work well for experiencing games ultra-wide. Exactly how you check for that depends on your operating system, video card, and drivers. That's the sort of thing your favorite search engine can help you with. Oh, and many computers have two video cards, one built into the motherboard and a separate one for gaming. Remember to check both. One of the great pluses of a monitor like this one is immersion. Beautiful panoramas become truly panoramic. You see more of the people and buildings when you walk through a city. Really be out in the wilderness. When I'm playing an RPG, I sit back in my chair with my controller, and this screen fills up most of the field of view of my glasses. In some 4X games and war games, the extra width lets you zoom in a little closer without losing your sense of the battlefield. It can be glorious. But it isn't just pretty scenery. I don't see many talking about situational awareness. Being able to see more map is always nice, but in any kind of first or third person action combat, it can be a lifesaver. Seeing more to the sides helps you track and prioritize better. Ever get hit by someone you didn't realize was that close? You saw them earlier or maybe even tracking them with your ears, but you get hit when you thought they were further away. With this screen, I've had cases where that opponent showed up on the edge of the screen just before they attacked, giving me a chance to react before they hit me. One time I was running from something that was clearly much stronger than I was and became aware of one horn on the right side of the screen and its other horn on the left side of the screen. Good incentive to keep running. But it isn't all sunshine and roses. Any information the HUD places in the corners will likely move even further from your central vision. Peripheral vision is great at seeing motion. It's bad for seeing detail. I recently fired up Dragon Age 2 to see how well it would work on this screen. It worked, but remember me mentioning sitting back in my chair with my controller? Dragon Age 2 doesn't support a controller, so I was sitting up to my keyboard, pushing the corners of the screen even further towards the edge of my vision. That little hit point bar, at this resolution very little, in the lower left corner of my screen, essentially passed out of my awareness. That little, teeny motion of that very small bar getting smaller simply wasn't enough to interest my peripheral vision. If you're playing something with turn-based combat, not a huge problem. But even then, you might find yourself looking around the screen to find all the info you need. You can always run the game in a window, but that kind of defeats the purpose of this channel. Cutscenes will be 16:9. There will be black bars on the right and left sides. That doesn't bother me at all, but it does seem to bother some people. If you're one of them, be prepared. Don't know if it'll help, but understand that cutscenes are intended to be cinematic. Trying to frame and compose a scene for both 16:9 and 32:9 and 21:9 while keeping them all cinematic is a big ask. I suspect it's close to impossible. If you have some experience with this, please comment below. I would love to hear more. Some older titles may need to be tweaked. I was shocked when Dragon Age Origins just worked. I did have to do the things you have to do to get it to run on a modern PC, but that's all I had to do. Mass Effect 2 and 3, not so much. I ended up using a third-party tool to get that working. It also pushed the cutscenes to 32:9, which revealed some fascinating things about what developers do. Added some humor that wasn't intended. There are third-party tools that can help some games. Others may have mods available. If you're up for it, you may need to hand tweak some config file or otherwise change the install. Some may never be quite right. I should cover this less than pleasant topic, the possibility of motion sensitivity. The immersion is wonderful, but some of us, that includes me, can experience some motion sensitivity from some games. What sets off the problem for one person is not the same for another person. I do not play first-person games. My brain and body do not get along when I do. Let's be more accurate. You can put me in a flight sim and I'll have no issues, even though it's really first person. I just seem to need a solid point of reference on the screen to be fine. So third-person games are typically not a problem. My wife is the other way around. First person, no problem. Third person, a bit iffy. What triggers motion sensitivity is different for different people. So I can't give solid advice on how an ultrawide screen might affect you if you are prone to motion sensitivity. My best advice is, see if you can find a way to try one first. Watching someone else play on an ultrawide screen, like maybe this old guy, will also not tell you how it might impact you. I can't watch other people play without looking away for a moment fairly frequently. But I don't have a problem playing on this screen. With those pros and cons in mind, you need to ask yourself what kind of games do you play, and how will this increase or decrease your enjoyment of those games? My personal take? RPGs. I love this screen for RPGs. Immersion is higher and very few, if any, negatives. I would play an RPG on 16:9, but given a choice, I'll take this screen. Exploration open world games should be a great fit. 4X games? Mixed, but generally good. It's always nice to see more of the map, but you may find yourself looking around the screen trying to find all the details you need. RTS games, it's always nice to see more map until it distracts you from what's important. I'm less convinced of the value here. Fast competitive games, this is not my area of expertise. If any of you have experience with this, I'd love to see your comments. As I said before, I'm not going to get technical. There are videos available in other channels that already do that quite well. More pixels means more work. This monitor has roughly the same number of pixels as two 1440 monitors side by side. If your system is already working hard, you'll probably need to turn some settings down. If you use a third-party app to set the graphics settings in your game, you might experience some issues. I have. I suspect that the settings the game automatically puts in place will be more conservative, so they are not likely to have a similar problem. I really love this beast behind me, but then I mostly play RPGs nowadays. Greater immersion and situational awareness are well worth it to me. Maybe more immersion than common sense, but well worth it. I wouldn't want to go back. 10 years ago, I was mostly playing 4X games. Back then, I probably wouldn't have spent the money. A very different value proposition. After all that, do I think it's worth it? Well, this isn't one of those things you need. It is one of those things that slowly convinces you that maybe you do. But before you make that decision, check your desk. Will it fit in your gaming space without too much disruption? Check your hardware. Will it drive a monitor this wide, and if so, will it do it at a frame rate and quality you want? Check what you play. Do the pros and cons fit well with the games you like to play? Check yourself. Are you willing to do some tweaking once in a while to get a game to work with this? Check yourself again. Do you have motion sensitivity issues? If you get past these checks and it still sounds reasonable, you may find yourself wondering how you ever went back to a narrower screen. Thanks for dropping by. If you have any questions or think I missed something important, please comment below. I love hearing from you. If you'd like to see more content like this, please like and subscribe. It helps convince the algorithm that there are other people interested in monitors that are probably too wide, and you'll get notified when I post something new. Goodness all around. Have a good one.